What's going on, everybody? Nobody in my crease but me, so you're going to have to listen to me and only me. What's happening, everybody? Welcome in the crease to Tommy C. Monday through Thursday, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Your daily hockey podcast. I think the only one that I know of. I don't know, that guy Pele, he runs one too. And it's not bad, I'll be honest, but no one's more entertaining than me. I want to talk to you today about the Chicago Blackhawks and some interesting things I saw and found out about them in the last 24 hours. Now, I'll be completely honest, only catch the first period of last night's game. But there did seem to be some lackluster play in that first period. If I'm not mistaken, they were up. Calgary was up 2-0. At some stage. First goal was a garbage goal. Chicago managed to get back in it. They go to the shootout. Calgary Flames walk away with the victory that I wouldn't have bet on the Flames. Not the way they've been playing. They're 1-4-1 going into this game. So is it just a fluke? Well, it could be. It's just the beginning of the year. Sure. But something caught my eye during this. Corey Crawford, 1-3-1, 3.02 goals against average. It's early. 89%, and it was 88 when the game started. Save percentage, 82. Well, yeah, I guess it would be 90% if you want to round up. So is it 0.879? I guess my question to you, our callers, our followers, is this something to be concerned about from a team that's been so dominant for the better part of this decade? All right, just the goalie. Crawford's, all right. I got some else for you, Blackhawks fan. Nicholas Harmelson, Duncan Keith have been out there for 9 power play goals against. That's not what you want from the point man. Shout out to Real Talk in the video, Goodfellas I made for him. Duncan Keith. Duncan's getting up there. But then again, could I be going just a little too early with this? I don't know. Here's another one. Both regulation goals, Calgary Flames, both power play goals. The Chicago Blackhawks find themselves very, very early in the season at the bottom of the penalty killing ranks. Is this something to be concerned about? And don't call me and just say no. Give me a reason. I don't know that you're wrong. I don't know that I'm saying that there's anything to be concerned about. But the Blackhawks aren't playing very Blackhawk-like out the gate. I don't think anybody could deny that. Not at all. But this is a very good team. This is a very experienced team. They have all the talent. They have success, recent Cubs. And we very well might see them in the Stanley Cup final this year. It's not completely unreasonable. In fact, it's more than reasonable. My dream final would probably be, besides my own team, a Pittsburgh in the East and a Chicago, and most talked about 2 teams. The real captain, Jonathan Toews versus Sidney Crosby. Well, Crosby's changed. Over the last year, he won his cup, second one. He seems to have had a bit of an attitude adjustment. I was a lot nicer to him during the playoffs than I was in recent years. And whole team contributed. Like, I still can't get enough of Nick Bonino. Rust, Bonino, Kessel, everybody came up. I saw in the first round that team was probably going to win. And Pittsburgh's found weird ways to get themselves eliminated. And my only criticism of the Penguins, really, they probably should have more cups with a roster like that. But due to some strange meltdowns in the past years, they got it together. I would love to see Chicago and Pittsburgh get it on as a hockey fan. And I think that's reasonable. So I want to hear that. I'm going to throw some other stuff at you before I start taking calls. Forget the Olympics. at least the NHL Olympics, which I could care less about for the most part. Well, I shouldn't say that. I really enjoy it. I just don't like all the politics that goes on behind it. I don't like the IOC. I think they're a step below, if not worse, than FIFA in corruption. The Olympics are shit. I don't understand why people even get, oh, the gold medal, the gold medal. They want a gold medal. Most of those sports are judged. I'm only a team sport guy and a fighting guy because you know who won, and it's a little tough for the referees to get involved. I don't like sports where it depends on how you do in a dinner party. A lot of those are Olympic sports. But the NHL has started this experiment since you were allowed to be a pro in the Olympics in 1998. And it's been good for promotion, but it's getting more expensive. Considering the salaries went up, insurance reasons, things of that nature. And from what I understand, the IOC really doesn't want to share in any revenue on what they make with TV deals. They don't really want to work with the NHL. The IOC seems to have an attitude, you should be honored to send your players to risk their $1 million contracts, to risk Stanley Cups and making playoffs and things of that nature. And that's always been their position. And I think the reason the NHL put up with it in the past is because it was a good promotion. Recently, the NHL started their own international tournament. I don't know if it's a success or not. I didn't see any numbers. But it definitely shows a willingness for the NHL to take on the international game themselves without the IIHF and the IOC. They are refusing now, which apparently they've done in the past, is footing the $10 million travel and insurance cost. Look, what is it in Pyongyang this year? I got news for yous. The NHL has no interest. And it's shocking because knowing Gary Bettman, he might put an expansion team there in South Korea. No, it's just not a market. It's not a growing market for anything hockey related. Might have been cool if Paul Kariya was still playing. He was half Korean. He's Korean or Japanese? I forgot. But he was Asian. That might have been interesting. But it's not. And it's not going to grow the game. And it's a risk. Think of Jonathan Tavares and Stosy. Kind of fucked up the Islanders season. The level of hockey is higher. In some ways, it's more dangerous. Hockey's a contact sport. You take your career, and maybe in some special incidents, your life in your hands when you play that sport at that level. It happens all the time here in Europe. You hear about a Swiss player or an Austrian player being paralyzed from the neck down. It's a dangerous, dangerous game. Never forget that. And then in North America, the fisticuffs are tolerated. Very dangerous sport, contact sport. The only sport in the world that allows you to basically throw down and take a 5-minute rest to think about it. And you feel shame. No, you don't. Nobody else does either. So they're not going to do it. They're not going to get behind this. And I don't blame them. I don't care if the I don't care if the players are in the Olympics or not. It doesn't make a lick of difference to me. If the IOC, the IOC is lucky to have the NHL players. It's not the other way around. It's a lot of money in there that are basically playing for charity and hope for sponsorships, like TJ Oshie. You have a big performance like that, people want to throw money at you with the big hero penalty shootout that they had versus Team Russia in 2014, excuse me. So, forget it. It's over. I have some suggestions if you're going to drop the Olympics. Maybe only drop it for this year. Maybe only do it when it's in countries where it's worth the risk, so to speak. But how about this? I got a better idea. You're willing to put the season on hold for 2 weeks, and it gets you a lot of attention. Maybe on off Olympic years, maybe every 2 years after the Winter Olympics. Maybe a World Cup tournament during the season. Stop it for 2 weeks. God, you got the World Cup tournament over in almost under 2 weeks this year. And not a lot of people heard about it. They had the same problem the Canada Cup did and the World Cup had the last 2 times they held it. First of all, it's not annually. They don't seem to. It might be another 10 years before we see another World Cup. Establish a tradition. Nobody wants to watch hockey in September. Nobody, except like me. And honestly, I'm the type of guy who'll watch inline roller hockey at the highest level if it happens to be on. But there's not too many people like me. Not too many people really want to watch top-level ice hockey, completely honest with you. Go check the NHL's subscribers on YouTube. Get that idea. Get an idea how powerful they're not. I know channels that have more subscribers than the NHL. I know people in YouTube that have more subscribers than the National Hockey League. So what could they do? How about this? If you're not going to send them to the Olympics, do the World Cup tournament, stop it in the middle of the season. You can throw your Team North America or Team Europe back in there. Everybody's in the same area, and you guys can go to work and promote the international game that week. Obviously, the NHL wants to promote the international game. But I don't know. It doesn't make a difference to me if there's a gold medal on the line. Okay, maybe that's a little nicer for history's sake. But to be perfectly honest with you, you put the top 8 teams in the world, and you put them all together. Call it whatever the fuck you like. It's the World Championship. And Canada sends the win, and they probably should, because on paper they tend to be the best team in the planet. So there's another thing you guys can think about calling me about. Like I said, IOC, $10 million. They don't want anything to do it. Want to comment on the Habs real quick? I did watch that game versus the Flyers. How about Radulov? Boy, was he into it. Congratulating all his teammates. Very un-Radulov-like. Maybe he has changed. Maybe he's grown up a bit. Big game last night for the Habs. Yeah, goal and a few helpers. He's slapping teammates on the back. Boy, look, no one's ever denied Alex's talent. The issue was locker room cancer, selfishness. Didn't look that way. God, that looked like a guy that just loved playing hockey last night. Loved it. Into it. A player I'd like. Well, I don't like guys that hit their coaches with hockey sticks. I don't. I haven't been very impressed with him showing up late for practices and drunk, or I don't know if he was drunk or not, or when he's with the Nashville Predators. There's no doubt in my mind Radulov could have been maybe even a Hall of Fame caliber player. But boy, he looks like he likes being back in the NHL. And if he has that kind of attitude and that kind of work ethic, sky's the limit for the Habs. Exactly what they need. Shea Weber also picking up a goal. God, the man's got the rocket. Radulov was like first one slapping guys in the back. He was just like, I want to be here. I like that. I think it goes far. Might send a shockwave through that Habs locker room. Well, it was need of an attitude adjustment with Shea Weber. And maybe, maybe old Radulov's catching the vapors. A lot of talent there. They can keep it focused. And it's about the team and not the player. Sky's the limit, especially the way Carey Price looks. And that's all I got for you. Nice little 12-minute speech for you. And we'll get right after this. After these messages, we'll get right back with the calls.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah, rapper and artist, but you know him better as the co-host of Shot from the Point Live. From the streets of Chicago to the bright lights of Las Vegas, Real Talk rocks the stage and the digital store. Hard-hitting and thought-provoking. Check out my man, Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah.
Make sure you check out his latest release, Black Mozart, along with his latest music video, Notice Me.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah, rapper and artist.
Another plug for you, man. What happened there? A little bit of a trip up. Well, whatever. Who cares? Let's put some calls through. I'm pushing the button. Call's not going through. God, I hate Skype. Somebody write me a song. And how much I just hate Skype. And with a bloody passion. Lube me up. You're on the air in the crease.
What up?
You tell me. Am I hearing my voice in the background?
Hello?
Am I hearing my voice in the background? Maybe I have some setting up problem here. This might be me. This could be me. All right, you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you.
All right, if you call in again and I hear my voice in the background, I'm going to hang up on you.
Shit. All right,
what do you
computer's
got?
closed. I swear.
Okay, tell me what you got.
Yeah, well, a few times ago I called and I said that I was a bandwagon, but turns out my dad was listening to that, and he's like a diehard Oilers fan,
Yeah?
even though he's from the Northeast, like America.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that, like, first of all, he didn't like my name, which,
I bet.
that wasn't good.
Lube me up. Your dad's like my dad. What's with the gorilla and the lube? What are you trying to say, son?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell me this story. This is interesting already.
Yeah, second of all, so a few things you should know about him. He's an Oilers fan, and he's he likes to exaggerate things. So he said, if you don't go back on and clarify who your team is, 'cause, he said, I'm going to rip your balls off.
I like your old man. He should call in. I like your father.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's my kind of guy.
Get him too.
He's probably my age, too. How old is he?
He's 53.
Oh, he's a little older than me.
Yeah.
So you're the youngest, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're the
I have
baby.
a twin brother, but
Good. I'm
he's-
glad people are still ripping kids' balls off from time to time. Makes me feel better about the way the world is. But okay, so you're an Oilers fan. Why wouldn't you be like my dad? I'm gonna lecture you, son. My dad brought me up to be a New York Yankees fan. I would never say I was any other fan. I mean, we watched the Mets too. I'm one of those weird families that we rooted for the Mets when they were in the playoffs. But I mean, I would never like your dad tells you what team to like. What's the matter with you, son?
I
You
guess
have to
it's
root for the
because I'm
best
not
team.
That big of a hockey fan.
Yeah.
But hey, I tune in.
Were you a Blackhawks fan last year, and then this past summer you became a Penguins fan? Is that what you did?
It was the Sharks.
The Sharks? Oh, you're pulling it for the Sharks. Well, I'm glad you got disappointed, you bandwagon jumper. What's the matter with you?
Thanks.
What's the matter with you?
Well,
Nice name. Or so you didn't change your name either. You're not listening to your
Well,
dad.
no, not that. I think I went far enough. But I could change it to lube me up in oil.
You know what I should think? I think you should change it to balls intact. How about that?
Hey.
What do you think of that? Balls intact, Dad.
Well, I don't think that'll go over much better.
Yeah, good call,
Who
bro.
knows?
All right, man.
See
Good
ya.
call. Take care. Lube me up. One of the better fucking calls in a while on In the Crease. 718-395-7660. 718-395-7660. Or add me to contacts and give me a little ring on Shot from the Point on Skype. Yeah. Looking to hear from you. And I'll let you do. Because if you don't got nothing, I'm bouncing. And I'm getting ready for my next show, which will come on right after this. And I'll be talking about Fuzzy too, Shot from the Point Dead at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time with Dead on Dave. We'll be talking about all sorts of stuff. And you never know who might show up. Good man.
There you go.
Nessun
You look like you were
Furtado.
dying there for a bit.
Nessun Furtado, not Furtado. That's not a nice thing to say, is it? But you're a Vancouver's Canucks fan, so, I mean, that's the best I can do. What's on your mind, sir?
You've been watching the play of Darnell Nurse this past couple of games?
I loved when that kid throws down. I like that skinny kid when he beats some ass. He seems to have been a recipient of some nice Connor McDavid. He's got a little Connor McD, and burying
for sure.
that big shot in the Canadian Classic. I didn't know that Darnell had any offensive, oomph. I thought he was basically a skinny defenseman that just knocked people down and threw down if he had to. But he's showing some other stuff. Is there something I should know? That's two Oiler questions in a row, and I wore the Oilers jersey today. Isn't that bizarre?
You put the shirt on, man.
Yeah.
You put the shirt on. I know your tag says you want to talk Blackhawks, and I'm more than happy to do that too. But
You can talk
you
about what
wore
want.
wore the jersey, man.
Yeah, I did. I wore the jersey today. I thought you were a Canucks fan.
But I don't know. I just live here, man. So
Yeah.
it's like the most content I'm gonna get, and I mean, that's what 40 plus years of disappointment. Like I was born into this disappointed. So
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, I mean, at least, yeah, I guess you could say the Oilers actually once they were actually the toast of the league for a while. It's been quite.
Yeah, they had dynasty prize, man.
Sure,
that was a good time. But
yeah, and we took a piece of that
no,
dynasty
man.
and won a cup in New York. Thank you very much, sir. Well, those guys were
Yeah,
Oilers.
no, thanks, you asshole, for bringing that shit back up.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, it's not my problem that Peter
Yeah.
Pockington had oil problems, who actually ended up doing time. He ended up doing time in Los Angeles. I wonder if he was right next to Bruce McNall. Boy, don't be Wayne Gretzky's owner. You end up in prison.
Every time.
Every time. Pockington went to jail.
Don't be
Bruce
Phil
McNall.
Kessel's owner, you'll end up owning a Dairy Queen.
Yeah, you're right. All right. So what do you got for me hockey-wise?
What do I got for you hockey-wise? I just think you're wearing the jersey, and I was talking about it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But Nurse's play, it's cool to see that, because for me, the longest time, the Oilers have been all about just drafting and then throwing out a mess of draft picks on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Never really figuring that out. And then Chiarelli jumps in, and he keeps sending Nurse back to the point where it aggravates the people of Edmonton.
Really? The people of
Keeps
Edmonton
him
have
up-
a lot of faith in
Calls him
Darnell.
up for a couple games. Yeah, and they, to a greater extent, still want him kind of out of that system. They don't think he's panned out.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that they're actually slow developing a guy, which kind of makes you think maybe there is some method to the madness.
That's true. I mean, Chris Kreider, I think he's a solid NHLer now. He bounced up and down with the minors. Maybe they are doing something to it. I just don't trust the Oilers organization to do anything right, because they never do anything right. Get like transformational
Best
players.
player in the world is not enough for the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, geez. Yeah, they might not be able to screw this Connor McDavid thing up. Even them. They might be 6'4", 205 pounds, shoots left. Oh, this is what I want my kid to grow up to be. I want him to grow up to be a skinny black kid for the Oilers. No, that's what it is. 6'4", 205 pounds. That's and he can fight too, man. That great video when his dad was cheering him on last year.
Oh, yeah.
It's good shit.
Yeah, man, that's
only
fantastic.
21.
Your Rangers are totally rolling right now, though.
Yeah, I think they're going to get better too. And you never hear me say that, really. I think the Rangers are, especially if they can kind of spread out the. They seem like a real depth team, strangely enough. And if Rick Nash ever decides to live up to his billing, it could be friggin' dangerous. It's
weird. Like, ever since he made that move over to New York, it's been very. I know you were talking about this yesterday, so I don't want to be the broken record here, but
it's a sports radio
I just find
talk
it odd
show.
that
It's all hearsay anyway. Go ahead.
Well, I just find it odd that he goes from being a total point producing guy to nothing. It's very bipolar. But then when you look back at like the international tournaments, those clutch games, he's front and center. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like I particularly remember that 2010 game against Russia when Canada had no option but to win, and he lights it up. He's physical. He's doing everything that he's supposed to do.
He is a bizarre. He's an anomaly. But I will say this: it's not like he hasn't produced for New York. He just hasn't done it when it counted in the playoffs. He's been very productive for the Rangers. I mean, when he was drafted, he was considered a transformational player. Won the Calder Trophy. This guy was gonna. There isn't too many guys that are 6'4" that can move the puck like that and he has filthy, dirty hands. Rick Nash.
Absolutely.
I mean, I actually made the comment that I thought he was more talented. I mean, the gifts that he was born with, the genetic gifts that he was born with, than Jonathan Toews. Now, I'd take Jonathan Toews in a second if I was building a team. But I don't think he has the gifts that Rick Nash has. I don't. But it's just he's never been able to put it together, and part of that was playing in a new franchise. And the other part is
new franchise, new team identity. I mean, he's been bouncing around through the Torts years and then through Vigneault, right?
Yeah,
so
basically,
what identity is this
Brampton?
team taking on? Is it taking on the Rick Nash one?
Where's Brampton? Maybe that's his problem. Brampton, Ontario. Is that like
Brampton, Ontario?
Yeah, is it like a real podunk town? Is that the problem?
That's pretty rural, man. Yeah, that's where you get all your soccer moms. And
really? Well, that's his problem. He's a big hillbilly. I think that's what the Rick Nash's problem is. He's a hillbilly. All right, Ness. I got to roll. I'll talk to you later, sir. Thank you very much.
Have a good one, sir.
Yes. Mika's been
a jazz.
I don't know why I did that, but I just wanted to. 718-395-7660. 718-395-7660. You want to talk hockey or anything else? And, Lampy, man. Or,
what's up?
Tobias, Deutschland. What's on your mind, sir? What you got for me?
I actually want to talk about the Blackhawks thing.
Yes, go ahead.
I cannot talk about the entire game that I saw yesterday because I only usually watch the reviews. The things that they put up on NHL.com.
Gotcha.
The game thing. So I don't know how the entire game looked, but I need to say Patrick Kane looked strong.
As far as being on the puck, I don't know. I thought. Hold on a second. I got a hitting.
They scored. I mean.
I got to do a donation. I'm sorry. Just want to support the show. Huge Hawks fan. The PKA issue right now is not about personnel. It's about structure, not pressuring enough, blocking shots, and taking enough space in front of the net. They will be a better team down the line. In my opinion, very good. I think so. So by structure though, are you saying coaching? All right. I'm sorry there, Tobias. I had to announce that's $15. I got to thank you very much. But go ahead, brother.
No, the thing was. I think he was involved in both goals, right? The one was an own goal that he was involved in, and the other one he opened up the right side and then they shot down there. I think that's how both things work. He was involved in both of these attacks that led to goals. I mean, he fucked up in the shootout in the end.
Yeah, which is unusual.
But I'll give him that. That can happen,
That's usually his bread and butter. Look, Patrick Kane was the MVP overall last year. He's probably one of the most talented players I've ever seen in my life. Hopefully he continues this train going. He's got a little bit of a reputation for being a bit of a dude bro and a little bit of a party animal, but I guess after a false rape accusation, that can change your whole world and appreciate what you have, which is, I think, what happened to Patrick Kane. But I think the problem with Chicago is the defense. They're not keeping it out. I really don't think. I thought Jonathan Tays played relatively well. Do they need to tweak it? Do they need to move one of these guys in the back? That's.
I saw the game, and from what I know, the little bit of ice hockey knowledge that I watched into by reading all the summaries and watching all the summaries on the NHL thing, they were wide open whenever they got attacked. And that was a little bit I think the only worst defensive performance I've ever seen this season so far was done by Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But they suck anyway, so that's not a surprise.
They do suck.
But I honestly think the only time when I've seen worse stuff was that performance by the Flyers. Was it this or the last game?
They have goaltender. They can't decide on a goaltender in Philadelphia. I think that's the big problem, and I think they're playing a little under par in Philly. So
a little bit.
Yeah,
that's an understatement.
Well, I don't think they're that good. They were that good, dude. Look, they're one of those cusp playoff teams. They have, they did some good things. They've got Ghostosphere, whatever his name is. They got Rathko Gudis. They got some weapons. Voracek, if he decides to get hot, he's really good. But I really think what it comes down to is what Philadelphia always has a problem with. They don't have a go-to goaltender. They can't seem to draft one. They can't seem to trade for one. And I think once they need their Henrik Lundqvist, their Carey Price, or at least a guy that they trust to play, to be that go-to guy that can play 4 or 5 games in a row without a rest. That's the problem in Philadelphia.
Yeah, you know how I noticed that the Philadelphia Flyers suck?
How's that?
Usually when I watch these summaries, that's why I came over the name Kane. Because to be honest, I don't know anybody else except Kane on the Blackhawks. Because he stood out to me in the summary. And I have seen now 4 game summaries of the Philadelphia Flyers, and no player stood out to me.
Well, look, you got to understand, you're a new hockey fan. Patrick Kane's one of the best players in this era.
And let's be honest, I know how the Blackhawks can fix their problem.
How's that?
In the next draft, they already have Kane. Now they need the Undertaker.
Get out of here. Talk to you later. Thanks for the call, Tobias. Wrestling fan. Heard Raw was awful last night. I heard it was god-awful. You know who just signed on? Let's see. I'm going to see if I'm just going to be aggravating. And I'm going to call Matt Kazar and see if he picks up. I don't know if he picks up or not. And I'm going to yell at him. I'm going to yell at Matt Kazar if he picks up. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm planning on doing. Ringing. God, he just signed in. No Matt Kazar. All right, let's take a phone call. One more phone call, at least. 860, you're on the air.
Why did Tommy cross the road?
Dude, why?
To suck off Keemstar!
You got me. You got me. Well, you should see my apartment now. All right, I had enough. Peace in the Middle East, chicken grease. Got a few more headlines for you. Penguin star Sidney Crosby. Good chance he's going to be in the lineup tonight against the Florida Panthers. All nice to have Sid the Kid back in uniform. We all agree. German Spieler, hockey Spieler Christian Ehrhoff. He's heading back home, and he's going to play for the Kuhn High, which actually means Cologne Sharks. I guess he couldn't get a deal, so he went back to the DEL. A little unusual. I thought Christian was a viable NHLer, but he finds himself back in the Deutsche Elite Liga or Ice Hockey League. Is it Elite Liga? I don't know. I think that's what the Czechs call it. I don't think they use a league. The Deutsche Ice Hockey League. David Backes, he's going to be out of the lineup. He's going to miss tonight's game against the Minnesota Wild. And so reportedly, with the goalie injury problems they're having in Los Angeles, Anders Lindback, he might find himself back in an NHL uniform very, very, very soon. It's good for Anders Lindback. Last night in the National Hockey League, Radulov, Weber, both with goals and helpers. Carey Price, 31 saves, as the Habs take the Flyers 3-1. Like I said, one thing I noticed about this guy, I like the way Radulov, he was into it. Not a big fan of the Radulov. I'm a big fan of his talent, not his attitude. But, what are you going to do? Little revenge for Chris Versteeg, former Blackhawk. He gets the shootout winner against the Flames as the Flames defeat the Blackhawks. A little bit shocking right there. But we have more because we have a whole bunch of games in the National Hockey League. The Minnesota North Stars. That's right, I said North Stars. They're in Boston, take on the Bruins, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Sidney Crosby, rumored to be back in uniform as they host the Panthers, also at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. E.O.H, Devils, Taylor Hall, 3 goals. Looking good, looking fast. I want to get that plus minus up and maybe a few more helpers. Get revenge on Edmonton. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, Devils Yotes. Lightning. Gonna light it up because I got Steve Stamkos on my fantasy team. They're going up against the Toronto Maple Leafs, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Detroit Red Wings in Detroit, also at 7:30. Sabres Flyers, also at 7:30. That'll be in Philadelphia. Calgary Flames, they get a back-to-back, and they're going right back into it with a very good St. Louis Blues teams, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Jet Stars, they start that at 8:30 Eastern Standard. Jets looking to get things right after they lost the Canadian. They're going up against the Dallas Stars. And we got 3 late night games, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. Sens and Nucks getting it on. And we also have Ducks and Sharks, little rivalry game. Is it a Wednesday night rivalry? No, it's not Wednesday. That's why. It sounds like a Wednesday night rivalry. Duck Sharks getting it on here. Isn't that right, Eddie? Hey, Eddie. The Duck Sharks. The 2 California teams. North Cal versus South Cal, or whatever they call it, SoCal. And the Blue Jackets take on the Kings. That is the final game at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much. Hope you like, hope you sub, and hope you share. In the Crease of Tommy C is broadcast at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. and we take your live calls. Good luck to all your teams. Enjoy the games, and as always, get out of my damn crease.